Hello and welcome to my assignment 2 video. So essentially for this one it's a Pokemon battle game. So it's only the battles, but you keep your Pokemon and you try to level him up and gain experience, and in the end you try to defeat the boss to win the game and become the most powerful Pokemon ever. So we're starting. Since mine is a GUI, you import tkinter, which gives us all the tools that we need to make the GUI. I have random, which we'll see later, and I used my summative tools class for some of the helpful functions that I've created. So starting off, I used a class. Now this was at first really challenging for me to understand why, but now after actually finishing this, I see all my functions here, which I've never had as many functions in a file. So having a class so I can keep the variables like within the same scope of the class really helps. So for the first function, we're starting by just initializing everything essentially. Starting with my starting health. This is so when I fully heal myself, I know like what to go to. This is my starting level, starting health, damage, and items. So this is a list of, this is my coins, and this is how many potions I have, and my XP I started at 0, just a little baby Pokemon. So I print this just to make sure everything's all going. And this has just initializes everything. It sets the scope as self.root equals tk.tk. So when I first start, I start by basically making everything for my interface, which is text box, and I insert all the stuff that I want, like my intro. I create another text box for my health visual, and then a stat visual, and then 3 buttons. And I disable them, and I disable all the text boxes afterwards so that no one can write in them. And then afterwards I bind the H key to the self.help function, which we will get to after, but this makes it so every time I press the H key, it runs the help function. And then this is what makes it how I want to look like. I use the grid function to give myself more control over where I wanted everything. So I put it in, like the text box is row 0, column 0, but it spans over 2 columns and 2 rows. And the sticky, which is for all of them except the health visual, it makes it so that it basically snaps to the full length and width that it can. And you can do it without the addition signs or with the addition signs like this. And then this just kind of initialize everything. Nothing goes below it. It's the infinite loop that sets up the program to wait for you to do something. So now I'm going to show you what it actually looks like. This is what it looks like. So I have my intro, I have my text box, this is going to be my health visual, and then my stat visual, and my 3 buttons. So when you start it, you hit new battle, and then from here, everything pops up. So I'm going to get to where that is. One thing that I forgot to mention, all the buttons have an on button click, and then they all have an identity. So button A is 1, button B is 2, button D is 4, so on and so forth. So when I start with the on button click, so basically by giving them an identity, when I press the button A, it runs through this variable 1. So when it's 1, it's just essentially, that's how I'm telling that the button was clicked, and then make the text box normal, and it runs the battle function. So we come all the way down to the battle function. So my final boss is Arceus, and just like how I want to type everything out is a little different. Like there's different intro and stuff. So I just see if the enemy is not Arceus, then I just run my standard battle, which is going through and checking your level. If your level's lower, you have a better range of attack, but if you're higher level, you can go down to -10 of your actual damage to your damage. This is where the random comes in. And then it just kind of goes and prints, you hit him for, and then hit the health. So that's after you hit him. We hit attack, and then you hit him for 10 health, he hit you for 5, and the health bar actually went down. It went down on both sides. So if we do it again, we both hit each other for 5. So that just happened to be a coincidence there. And then if he isn't dead, he attacks you, So his range is a little different. It's -7 to -2, just to make it a little easier, because you don't really want a game where you're just destined to lose. And then this is where it just prints the health bar because it's afterwards. And then if he dies, the death scene is you defeated him. It disables the attack and heal button. And then the winnings, so the coins is the enemy's health, Integer Division 4. That was like a pretty good number, because if you face a harder Pokemon, then you should get rewarded with more coins. So in turn, you can buy more potions later or fully heal yourself. And the XP is the health, Integer Division 5, because it has to be a challenge to level up. If you ever play the real Pokemon games, you don't just level up after every battle. And so then it just prints you won the coins, you gained XP, and then it adds them all, and then it runs the shop scene, which is way down here in the shop scene. This creates a whole new window with a whole new shop scene. So if we win this battle, the shop scene pops up. It says welcome to the shop. You can choose to purchase more potions or fully heal yourself. It prints how many coins you have, and it shows the prices. So if I wanted to fully heal myself, I'd click that button. It says I fully healed, and then it just prints it again because I have 7 coins left. So if I wanted to buy a potion, I'd buy it. There are 3 potions in my bag. And on the right side here, I only gained 6 experience points from that battle, and I need 15 to level up to level 2. So when I'm done with this, I'd exit out. Everything's disabled, but then, oh, new battle, and it just starts over again. This time I'm facing Bulbasaur, and then I could battle it out. And yes, so that's basically the shop scene, and I'll show you what happens when we level up. So we're attacking, we're losing, so maybe I'll heal, and then you'll see it next turn. So when I attack, I went up, and then I look like I'm gonna win this battle. I have 14 points, so I'll heal myself, and then just go through, and I leveled up, and so it fully heals me. And when it fully heals me, it disables the fully heal button, so I don't waste my only 10 coins on healing. My attack is now 5 higher, and I have 5 more health points. So right now I was at 45 and 15, or I am at 45 and 15 now, sorry. I was at 40 and 10, and so now I'm just a little bit stronger. See, it only took 3 hits. And another thing, now that I leveled up to level 3, I still get the 5 higher attack, 5 more health points, and I get healed. But now I'm in a harder pool of enemies, so I will face harder foes now. So when it chooses, before, as we see printed in the console down here, it was choosing from these Pokemon. So they have roughly anywhere from 10 to 15 attack and 30 to 40 health, which are pretty easy. But now that I'm doing it, these guys are a lot different. 20 attack, 50 health, 25 attack, 40 health, just so on and so forth. They're all very and different. So see how they have more health now, but so do I. So it's all about growing, and as you get better, you have to face harder enemies. And so another thing that we should go through is the Pokemon Chooser. How does it choose your enemy? So I can close the battle scene. But so, it's down here, Pokemon Chooser. So I have a whole nother file called Pokemon.txt, and it looks exactly like this. I set it up like this very specifically. So when you're level 1, these are all the easy Pokemon. But then when you hit level 3 like we just did, it grabs from these Pokemon, which basically it goes, the format is name, attack, health, name, attack, health, so on and so forth. When you're level 5, you grab from these, and then the boss is Arceus, and so it has to choose Arceus. That's the only one that's not random. So opens it and reads it. It generates the list, separating it by the dash right here. So this is so you can grab the different levels. And so if you're level 1 or 2, you just get the easy. 3, 4, get the medium. 5, 6, 7, you get the hard. Level 8, you get the boss. And within these, it separates that list by the star. So it takes the list within the list and separates it by the little by the little star here, so that you are left with these sort of lists that you like right here, which makes it a lot easier because now you're within your difficulty. And then after all that, it takes a random integer from 1 to how many Pokemon are in that level, and from there that's how you get the random Pokemon that you're battling. And then it isolates the Pokemon and it separates it by the comma. So then all you're left with then is this little list, which is the name, the attack, and the health. So it's really easy. It's just select the enemy at 0, 1, 2. And then this is so the stats, as soon as I hit new battle, the stats pop up too along with the health bar, so that it's not like behind when you have to hit attack or anything. And besides that, everything else is very straightforward. Like buy potion, it just checks if you have enough coins. If you do, you bought a potion. It just adds the potion, it subtracts 5 coins. Prints there are this many potions in your bag. If not enough coins, you run that, and then it just reprints the shop. And then it's the exact same thing with the full heal, except it's just 10 coins, and then it heals yourself by that initializing health that I mentioned at the very beginning. And then it reprints the shop again. And then that is basically it. We went through everything. Yeah, the healing, you just, if you're between level 1 and 4, your potion only heals you 15 points. But then if you're 4 or above, since they're a lot stronger enemies, you have a lot more health, it heals for 25 points. And I tried to make that because in the real Pokemon games, as you get further into the game, you can actually buy better potions. So this is just kind of the equivalent. And then the help function, as I mentioned, when the H is pressed, it just prints these instructions. So at any point in my game, if I'm in the middle of a battle, I hit H. This is a text-based Pokemon game. Start a battle by pressing new battle, attack by pressing attack, heal, and then when you're battled to access the shop, you're on your own now. So it just kind of shows you how to play if you need it. And basically that is it. Everything else is just pretty straightforward. It gets a little easier as you go on, as you get stronger, and then you work your way towards the boss. But let's say you lost. Well, of course I'm not going to lose yet. There, I lost. I died. Game over. Everything gets disabled. Can't start a new battle. The shop doesn't pop up. And the only thing you're forced to do is quit. And that's how you play my game. I had a lot of difficult times making this game, as this was my first time using a GUI or a class, and it was really hard for me at first. But as I started getting going, and I realized it wasn't as hard as I thought, and I really enjoyed doing this. Thanks.